Hi there. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. I was waiting for my computer to finish sending over the big file to watch it all, and it just went. So, I think I have found a couple answers.
Introduce yourself for the record.
I have found a couple answers for us from yesterday's trial that we watched, but I'm going to quickly fill you in case you were not here yesterday, and also in the description of this live, I have day one, so go watch it when you're done. But yesterday we started watching the murder of Ben Elliot, who murdered his twin sister while he was sleepwalking. And it's really weird because most of the major news stations or big broadcasters, they did not pick up this story at all. And if you go and look online, it's only in clips. It's pretty weird, actually, because I think this is a big one. This is a lot going on, but I think I might know why. And I'm not going to tell you my theory until you watch the whole video of this today. So I'll say what I think at the very end. That way, anyone who wants to guess or has different thoughts, you can put it in before I say mine. But if you watched yesterday, let me recap just a little bit. Ben was supposedly sleepwalking. He stabbed his sister 31 times. The police had his parents get changed because it was in the middle of the night and sent them outside. And when they all went in, first responders, Ben was already doing chest compressions trying to save her, and they never took over. They had him keep going until they decided she couldn't be saved, which is very strange to me. I think that's ridiculous. He was a child and they are professional. They should have done something, my opinion. I pulled all the different videos to make it one big clip. That way we weren't watching 50 little small clips. So there was a couple missing, and thank you to, I think it's Caitlin, who was in yesterday, who said, hey, there is one missing, and it's a Zoom one. And she was totally right. I saw it, but I thought that it wasn't in with all of this because I just only saw in court ones. But I have that, and I have their mom taking the stand, and that is not on YouTube at all. And I'm going to double check, but I was looking this morning, nothing. Very weird. So if you have any ideas, go ahead and watch and let me know what your theory is. But let me get this teed up and ready to go. Move myself to the corner. If there's any audio issues, if you need it louder, quieter, let me know. Okay. So 2 clips. First one is his sister. Thank you again, Caitlin. All right.
My name is Elizabeth Elliott.
Okay. And Elizabeth, are you? Tell us who you are. Let me start there.
Yeah, I'm Meghan's sister, older sister.
Okay. Where are you right now? 'Cause we know you're on video, but where are you currently?
I'm at my home in Columbus, Georgia.
All right. Walk me through just growing up. You're from Houston?
I am.
And where did you go to school growing up?
In Houston, I went to, I think, Weber Elementary, but we moved to Georgia when I was 8 or 9. And I went to Unity then.
You moved to Georgia?
Sorry,
there's a delay, so I'm talking over you. I'm sorry. When you moved to Georgia, how old was Meghan and Ben?
5 or 6.
All right. Tell the jury about Meghan, a little bit about her personality.
She was beautiful. She was really outgoing when we were younger, but just kind of stopped me up when we were older. Things because she really liked the quiet. She would like to read. She really loved animals. She wanted to
Elizabeth,
have
hold
fun.
Sorry, there's a little bit of feedback, so just go a little slower and a little, if you can tone it down just a little bit.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I would say she was wonderful. She really liked animals. We were on the scouts together. Like, she was quiet. She loved to draw. She was really into animation last time we checked in.
Okay. And were you close with her?
Yeah, we shared a room when we were younger. We were all three very close.
Okay. Tell me about Ben. Were you close with him?
Yeah.
What kind of brother was he?
A regular brother. He was hilarious. They are both brilliant. He was sarcastic, funny, really into building things. We were all really into like being outside. Like, it's just a good brother.
Did you ever know Ben to have any violent tendencies towards Meghan?
No.
Did you know Meghan to ever have any fear of her brother? That he would do something?
No.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. The biggest drama they had was like Ben being a know-it-all when they played video games, and I feel like that's pretty regular. Like, and she would always talk about it. Like, Meghan had no problem bringing things up. So.
All right. You're in Georgia right now. Are you in school?
I am.
And do you work?
I do.
Okay. I'm going to show you what I have is marked as Defendant's Exhibit 3. Okay? Do you recognize the people in this picture?
Yeah.
Okay. Does this picture fairly and accurately represent you, Ben, and Meghan?
I mean, that's our first day of school years ago, so I think so.
I'll offer Defendant's Exhibit 3.
No objection, Your Honor.
With no objection made, defense exhibit number 3 will be admitted into evidence and made published, sir.
Okay. Elizabeth, you mentioned Ben's way he treated Meghan. Did that get worse as they got older?
I mean, no, he didn't treat her badly at all. Like, I feel like we have pretty normal sibling drama. You know, it wasn't anything that I would categorize as like strange. Like, I wouldn't categorize Ben as violent at all. Like, he speaks very quietly, always has. Like I said, the only problem is that he's brilliant and knows it, and sometimes can be the only right one in the room. But that's pretty typical teenage things stuff.
Okay. Did you observe how Ben would act as like a protector to your sister whenever she had issues?
For sure.
Okay. Let's start.
Yeah,
Let me start here. What did Meghan have? Was she autistic?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell the jury a little bit about that.
She was diagnosed when we were younger. It was always something we all kind of like knew, grew up with. She was really quiet. She had a hard time. She was so loving, but she had a really hard time making friends, especially when she got older, because there's not a lot of room for that kind of softness, I think, in public.
All right, slow down just a little. Slow down just a little. So she would have a hard time making friends.
Yeah.
Ma'am, this is Judge Lacayo in the 182nd. You're going to have to slow down, okay? Just please slow down.
How would Ben react to her difficulty making friends?
He would just be quietly supportive of her. They had their own separate friends. They had a lot of combined friend groups. If people were ever unkind, he would shut it down.
Okay, what do you mean by shut it down?
The thing that came to mind is when we were younger, we were in the school bus in Lucasville, and just these kids were just being unkind to her, and she was being quiet. And Benjamin got up and started crying, actually, and was like yelling at them and like telling them to like leave her alone. That was pretty cool.
All right. Did you ever notice or have an experience where Ben was sleepwalking?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell the jury about that. Around what age was that?
That would also be in Lucasville. So I guess they would have been like 10 or 11. Me and Meghan were sharing a room. We had bunk beds, and we'd already been put to sleep. I was maybe like 13 or 14, and Meghan woke me up because Ben was standing in the doorway, just kind of like silhouetted and just like staring, not moving, just kind of staring at us. And I woke up and we both called out to him multiple times, and he didn't move, he didn't react. So I got up and just like touched his shoulder, and his eyes were like they were barely open. And then we told him to go back to bed, and he just turned around and went to bed. And we laughed about it, and we told our parents the next morning, and Ben had no memory at all. And we all just laughed about it. It was just like a story that we just had in us.
Now, you mentioned Ben's smart. Is he the type of guy who's gonna mastermind killing his sister and then come up with some kind of crazy defense?
Objection calls for speculation.
That'll be sustained. Don't answer the question, please.
Did you ever talk to Ben about that sleepwalking incident?
A couple times in passing, but nothing ever serious. Like we didn't. I never considered it anything that would point to a problem, any serious. I didn't even really link it with sleepwalking for real, you know. So we brought it up. It's just like as a story, and it's like my dad also has like a history of being a heavy sleeper and having whole conversations.
Objection.
And not remember.
Hold on. I'm just objecting to hearsay and
Non-responsive?
non-responsive
That'll
to.
be sustained. Ma'am, if you could do me a favor rather, and just answer the question. And also, you can't say what anyone else said. So just listen to the question, and I think it'll go a lot smoother. Go ahead, Mr. Rucker.
Okay, thank you. Elizabeth, let's talk about...
Sometimes, right? And sometimes I speak a little loud. Try to. There's white noise, but it's really loud and annoying. You won't like it.
Okay, Elizabeth, let's start with your dad, okay? Did you ever experience moments where your dad was sleep talking when you were growing up?
Many times.
Okay. Tell us about that.
It was literally a running joke. Anytime you needed anything, just ask Dad before he got up all the way. Because he would respond and you could have whole conversations with him. And me personally, like, multiple times, like, just, and he wouldn't remember any of it.
Okay. And then was there also a moment where, who's Nana?
His mom. We called her grandma growing up, but that's what my cousins call her.
Okay. Tell the jury about a time when grandma was sleepwalking or sleep talking.
I remember her sleep talking. God, I couldn't have been. It was when I was younger, I couldn't be like 9, but I just went into her room one time to ask her about something, tell her dinner was ready for my Aunt Eva used to make it, and she answered something about like Young Frankenstein or like the movie she was watching, and she said something totally random, and they went back to sleep, and they went out to tell the family, and they just laughed and said that was just her, and she just like came out like maybe an hour later. I was really young, I barely remember it.
Did she remember the conversation you two were having when she came out about an hour later?
No.
Okay. And when you were talking to her, was she standing up? Was she sitting down? Where was she?
She was laying down. She kind of like propped up a little bit, but she was for the most part laying down.
Okay. So let's talk about Ben and Meghan. When, for instance, like if Ben and Meghan were going to school, did they ride the bus together?
Yeah.
How would they interact going to school?
They would talk. They would sit by each other on the bus. I'm sorry. What are you like? They were.
Okay.
I don't know. They were normal. They would hang out. Like.
Sure. Let me try to narrow the question. If they were walking together to school and it was raining, how would Ben treat Meghan?
I'm going to object to leading them.
Please don't lead your witness. I don't know how else to ask that question.
Okay. You ever see Ben walk with Megan in the rain?
Yeah.
Okay. Who would hold the umbrella?
Ben.
He was looking after her?
Yeah. He would always hold it like over her, like, was he really on her for real?
Pass the witness, Judge.
State, please.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Elizabeth. My name is Megan Long, and I'm a prosecutor with the Harris County District Attorney's Office. I just have a few questions. I want to start with the time that the defendant walked to y'all's door. Did you say that he didn't respond to you guys? Is that correct?
Yeah, he didn't say anything.
Okay. And it took a while for y'all to get him to respond and to go back to his bed, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And he did not remember anything about it the next morning, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you said your grandmother had some sort of like sleep talk interaction thing with you, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And again, she had no memory of that either.
Yeah.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Oh, just real quick, Judge. Elizabeth, did anyone from the Harris County Sheriff's Office ever call you?
No.
Is it a mystery who you are in relation to Ben?
Shouldn't be.
I have another question, Judge.
State.
Elizabeth, would it surprise you to know that I actually did know who you were and about the prior sleepwalking with Benjamin? Would that surprise you?
Again, it shouldn't.
No. And is it fair to say that your parents are supportive of Benjamin and that he was sleepwalking? Is that correct?
I'm confused by the call.
Are your parents supporting Benjamin here today?
She thinks her parents.
Well, she knows the answer.
Are you asking me if they think that I'm sleepwalking?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it fair to say that your family is not supportive of our prosecution of your brother?
Is your prosecution that it was premeditated?
No. It's the prosecution that he wasn't asleep. Are you saying that, would it be fair to say that your family is not supportive of us prosecuting your brother?
I mean, I think my family is supportive of finding the truth and getting Ben help that's appropriate for what the truth is. And I believe that it is sleepwalking because we have a history, a family history that appears to
That's not what I asked
Judge,
you.
I'm going to ask you to be allowed to finish the question.
Let her.
It's unresponsive to my question.
It's responsive.
Hold on.
Finish.
Hold on.
You can ask her about it.
Hold on. If she has an objection, the witness needs to stop. This is the problem with Zoom. So she had an objection, so she has to stop. Now your objection was non-responsive.
Non-responsive.
That'll be sustained to the non-responsive portion. Ask your next question, please.
Now, Elizabeth, are you a sleep expert?
No.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Defense, if you want to come back and ask a question to clear something up, that's fine, sir. I'm not stopping anyone. I'm just trying to get the objections correct.
Thank you, Judge. No, we're good. Pass witness.
May this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you can get off Zoom, ma'am, unless you have someone else that needs to get on.
No, sir.
Okay, call your next witness, please.
Okay, so like I said, this is an awkward hour for being a live video, but this is what this right now what I'm going to play is not found on YouTube at all. And this is one of the main parts of this trial, day one of this trial. The mom taking the stand. We only saw the dad yesterday. I don't know why this is not up on YouTube. I found it, but it was hard to find, and I don't know why. Like I said, I have theories now. I'm gonna go ahead and play it, and when this is over, I'm gonna say my theory. So if anybody happens to be live, or if you're not watching this live, you still have time to say what your thoughts are about this entire thing, because I'll say it at the very end. But yeah, let's go, since this was not being played for everybody.
as far as Ben's, the time he woke up for school, what time did he normally have to leave the house?
Usually he left about 6:30. And then, oh, sorry.
That's fine. So he left at 6:30. What would his routine be?
He would set multiple alarms because he was hard to wake up. And so he would set the normal Apple alarm, and then he had a couple of backup alarms. And set one for like 5:30, one for 5:40, one for different times. And hit snooze and wait until the last minute, and then get up and get dressed and head out to the bus with Meghan.
Okay. So if Ben, in his statement, said, I looked at my phone, it's getting close to time to leave. Would you say it's pretty accurate? 2 hours or so time to leave.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Ben's room. I have kids. Their rooms aren't always very neat. What about, how did Ben keep his room?
Mostly neat. He had some boxes in there from when we had moved that still hadn't been unpacked. But I think the room was smaller than all the stuff that he wanted to put in it.
Okay. Back to your
This is the garage.
garage. Tell the jury about this.
That's
It's 29.
that's the SCA weapons. It's actually an old one of those 3-tiered plastic shelves that we drilled holes into to be able to hold practice swords and rapiers and things like that.
Right. And you heard testimony that Ben's room was messy and cluttered. Do you agree with that assessment?
It was when we got back to the house.
Okay, so if I show you States Exhibit 41, 43, 45,
Yeah.
did Ben's room look like this before the police went through it?
No.
And right here in States 45, what is that?
Can you zoom in? I'm sorry, I can't see. It looks like it might be a practice sword. I'm not quite. Oh, no, that's the. Is that the BB gun? I'm sorry, it's a little blurry. I'm hard.
Give me the exhibit, Mr.
Let's see if I can find a better photo, but
Sorry.
we'll try it here.
Yeah, I think that's the BB gun.
Okay, whose BB gun is that?
Well, Michael had it. Michael had bought it, and he was going to give it to Benjamin to use.
And did Ben ever shoot things like squirrels or birds or any animals with it?
I'm not sure if Ben ever shot it at all, actually.
Did Ben ever go hunting?
No,
What do you want to go hunting?
not that I know of, no.
Again, and then States 41. Is it fair to say when these photos were taken, the room was messier due to the search from the police?
Yeah.
I want to start with when the sheriff's office, with the patrol officers, first came to the scene that morning. What were you asking them to do?
Well, I was asking them what had happened.
And what did they tell you?
They wouldn't tell me anything. They didn't tell me what was going on with Meghan. They didn't. I didn't see Ben that morning. I didn't go into Meghan's room. They were already there, and they wouldn't tell me anything.
Okay. At some point, did you ask to go in and see her?
Yes.
And what did they tell you?
No.
Did you ask them to take a picture?
Yes.
And what was their response to that?
No.
Did that type of treatment continue that morning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain what you mean.
I didn't know anything about what was going on. I had woken up. I heard my husband yelling, and that woke me up. And there were police coming into the house, and they wouldn't tell me what was going on. Michael told me that Meghan had been stabbed, and I could hear CPR going on, but they wouldn't let me go to her. They moved us. Our house was, there was the main bedroom, and then the kitchen and living room, and then the kids' bedroom.
So let me stop. Let me break it down in a question and answer, because we'll get objections then.
Sorry.
Were you moved around to different places that morning?
Yeah.
Okay. Where all were you moved in the house?
We started off right when you walk out of our bedroom, right by the kitchen bar, and the police were standing right there and wouldn't let us go past. And then they moved us kind of into the kitchen itself. They moved us into the computer room, and we kept asking for, what's going on, what's going on. I had gone to get dressed. They had sent us to get dressed, and I was getting dressed while apparently Ben was let out, so I didn't see him leave, but my husband did. I didn't even see him go out. They put us in the computer room, and we couldn't tell what was going on. They shut the door, and I tried to open a window. I was here during the body cam stuff, and there was a noise on there. That was me with the mini blinds because all the computers were in the way. I was trying to get the window open because I could hear EMS talking on the other side of the window, talking about my daughter.
Sorry. So when you're in the computer room, I think the jury's seen this picture, but there's a window open on one of the scene photos.
I opened it.
That was you that opened that?
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Because I wanted to hear what was going on. They were talking about my kid. And I heard the word carotid, and they wouldn't tell us anything.
As the morning unfolded, did you remain in this information vacuum?
Yes. Yeah, eventually they moved us. They wanted to put us in the garage, but the garage was too crowded, and we had told them that there were knives in there, and they decided that wouldn't be a good idea to put us in there. And so they put us outside of the house, and we asked them if we could wait in the car because it was raining, and they said yes. And so we sat inside the car and watched. The paramedics came up after we were in the car, so we saw them arrive. We saw police all over the place. I mean, I got up at one point. We saw the paramedics leave, and I thought they had Meghan on a stretcher. I know now that it wasn't. It was probably just all their equipment and stuff. But I asked the police officer at the door where they were taking her, and could we go to the hospital and meet her? And they wouldn't tell us which hospital, which I now know why. But
so let me stop you there. As the morning kept going, you're not getting information. Do you try to contact a family friend?
Yeah, I called my friend Dale Carroll, who's a lawyer, and I called him up and I said, we need help. And he lives about 45 minutes away, and this was, I don't know what time, but he got there around 6:30.
So at 6:30, had you still not received any information about your daughter?
No, nothing.
What about Ben?
Nothing. And he came back, I don't know how long it was, but he came back and he told us that Meghan was gone. And he had verified that the police didn't need us on the scene anymore. We gave him a key to the house. He gave it to the police, and he took us to his place.
If the implication was that you or Michael told the cops, no, go get a warrant,
No,
was that you?
no,
Was that Michael?
no.
Eventually, you did speak to Sheriff's Office, correct?
They called us and wanted to do an interview with us.
What type of information did you get from them?
Did I get from them?
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing.
And then at some point you met with a prosecutor from the Harris County DA's office?
Yeah.
Do you know who that was?
Josh, and I don't know what his last name was. I just know Josh.
When you had that meeting, were you given much information?
No. I was told there was a victims advocacy fund that we could apply to if we wanted. But,
What year was that meeting?
that was still in 2021, as far as I recall. With Josh?
Since that last meeting, you would agree with me, it's been years.
Yes.
Since that last meeting, did anyone with the Sheriff's Office, the DA's office, they try to contact you to get more information on this case?
No.
We saw from testimony that even as early as last week, law enforcement was trying to gather evidence on this case. Did anybody call you last week?
No. They've had 3.5 years. They never asked us anything else.
Now, the circumstances of your two kids, one being complainant, one being accused, may prove awkward for an agency, but don't you think they owe you the duty of talking to you about evidence in this case?
Objection to argumentative.
You can answer that.
Okay. Yes.
And would you have provided them all this evidence that they've been missing in this case?
Yes.
There was questions about, well, they didn't know which witnesses to call because they just didn't know. Did you see all that evidence about the phone that Ben gave them?
Yes.
And he gave them consent for that phone, right?
Yeah.
Over 38 gigabytes of data in Ben's phone?
Yes.
Of the people who testified here yesterday, was every single phone number in that phone?
Yes.
And Ben had emails in that phone?
Yes.
He had text messages in that phone?
Yes.
Did law enforcement ever, to your knowledge, contact anybody in Ben's phone?
No.
What about Megan's phone?
No.
I'm going to show you what's already been admitted into evidence, State's Exhibit 35. And while you're looking at it, it's in evidence, but tell us, what are we looking at on that wall?
This is the hallway between Meghan and Benjamin's wall.
Now, I'm going to show you what I've got marked as Defense Exhibit 6. Is Defense Exhibit 6 just a zoom-in close-up of this photo on the wall?
Yes.
Or this art piece of art?
Yes.
Okay. And you can see it more clearly on Defense Exhibit 6 because it's zoomed in.
Right.
Okay. At this time, Judge, I'm going to, and this is from your home, and these are a closer look at the crime scene photo, correct?
Yes.
I would offer Defense 6, Judge, I'm kidding, opposing counsel.
No objection, Your Honor.
With no objection made, defense number 6 will be admitted. Evidence made published to lead you.
Okay, it's a little blurry, but tell me if I have this right. Of my friends, there is no other who can take the place of my dear brother.
That's what it says.
All right. How many square feet was your home? Do you remember?
About 1,700.
Okay. The area, the livable area near Ben, Megan, and your room, how much?
Like the living room area?
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe as big as the jury box. It wasn't huge. I don't know the actual square footage.
Okay. At some point, you, Michael, the rest of the family tried to figure out why this could have happened. Fair to say?
Yes.
Do you know of any reason why your son would intentionally, knowingly cause the death of your daughter?
No.
I'll pass it to this judge.
Okay. So, that's what we missed yesterday. We are officially caught up for trial day 2, which will be Monday. And as I said yesterday, I will take all of the little clips of videos and I will put them all together and we'll watch in the evening until the trial ends. I'll do that every day. But the mom's testimony has not been on Facebook. And as I said, I would say my thoughts on what's going on with this at the end. But so September 21st is when this whole thing happened. And September 29th, this is all in 2021, by the way, we are 4 years, almost 4 years out, which is a very long time, which is surprising. But the 29th is when Ben was arrested, and he has since then been bonded out for $100,000. I'm wondering if there is a lawsuit pending or already happening, because this family is very upset with everything involved in this entire thing. And we got to hear little snippets of it yesterday, but then even more so in the mom's testimony, that they gave all access to phones, they, anything they needed. And they never contacted the family, not even once. And they didn't check around for family history amongst anybody in the contact list of like friends and family. They didn't do any of it. The night this happened, I said last night, the night this happened, and they immediately made the parents change their clothes and go outside to wait, I would have gone straight to prison, because I would not have listened to that, and I would have just been arrested instead, because that is ridiculous. And what's crazier is there they are saying no to the parents, go outside. But they kept Ben in and had him doing chest compressions even when the professionals arrived. Something's wrong with that. This whole thing, like that whole thing, something is really wrong with that. And it's sad, because in order to do a thorough investigation, they should have been collecting all the contacts, reading through everything, talking to everybody. Was there any signs somewhere that he could have actually decided to do this and planned to do it? I mean, they just dropped the ball so bad. And then that scene that night, they dropped the ball so bad. So probably tonight and tomorrow before day 2, I'm going to start looking to see if there's a lawsuit going on, because I think there has to be. This is also Katy, Texas. So I will definitely keep you informed if I find out anything. But it is very odd that this isn't being covered in a normal way. All day streaming of a live trial. They're not doing it, and they're leaving certain things out. As I said, the mother's testimony has been left out and is not that accessible. So played it, now it's on YouTube, but we will dig through, see if there's any other things going on, and be back for Monday evening, and we'll continue from there. All right, thanks for watching.